On this week's episode of That Sound podcast, we are back with good friend of the show, all the way from New York City. We have once again Mr. Chris Russio.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's great to be back, man. It really is. How's everyone doing?
We're doing
Hey,
fantastic.
good,
Good,
great to
good.
have you back, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to be here, man. That was a really cool first episode. I love that one. So
Yeah,
it's great talking to you guys.
it's probably been close to a year ago, I'd say.
Yeah,
Probably
I think last April.
was it April? Yeah,
No
wow.
It was
way.
like, yeah. Funny enough, it was like a week before I sent that snare off
Oh
to
wow.
Metallica. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, time flies when you're having fun. But you've been very busy, as you touched on your project with shipping out your snare, which I'm sure we're going to chat about now.
Yeah.
Sent it out for a big project that Tama done, a photo shoot, and maybe Lars played. I'm pretty sure he did play your snare, and Jimmy probably tuned it too, which we'll get into. And then your projects, man, your YouTube channel is flying. Really love your videos, your cover of Blackin' and One, and I need to get some editing skills off you because you're way better than me.
I'm not sure. Is that what you want? No, I said, is that what you want? Do you want heavy? Metallica gives you heavy, baby!
I appreciate it. I'll give you the editing skills if you give me the sound skills, because that's where I lack with the
I think
EAD10.
that sounds good. I'll give you a hand with that if you want.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We're going to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a trade-off.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
But yeah, tell our listeners a little bit about the snare and the story getting it shipped out to California.
Yeah, so if you don't follow my channel, this will be all new to you, but if you've seen my channel before, I got a lot of information on there. So I'll go through it here with you guys. Like I said, right after we did the first episode, I think it was like a week later. Um, I was on my way to work, and I don't know if you guys know this guy. It's called End Podcast for All.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I follow him too. We never did a show or anything, but I get a text from him, and he was like, "Hey man, I need a favor." And I looked at it, and the first thing I thought, I'm like, this is a scam, because anytime anybody says, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" It's usually like, "Can I borrow $300? Can you give me some iTunes gift cards?" It happens all the time. My friends get guys from work, they get hacked, and then you'll get this stupid question from them, and you're like, "Hey man, you got hacked. You better change your password." So I think Shane, yeah, he sent that over, and I'm like, "All right, this is a scam." I'm like, no offense to him. Let me just kind of, approach this slowly. I said, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "I need pictures of your snare." He's like, "Could you give me 8 to 10 clear shots, top, bottom, underneath, all this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Didn't seem weird to me. I help people out with pictures, and we talk all the time. So I sent him the pictures. I didn't hear from him. And I think a couple hours later, he comes back to me. He's like, "Let me tell you what's going on." He's like, "Zach from Metallica, he's doing a project." And at first I'm like, "Well, who the hell is Zach Harmon?" I didn't know who he was. He's like, "Oh, he's the gear manager and everything." I'm like, "Okay." And then none of this sounds real, none of it. He's like, "Would you be willing to ship your snare out there for a project that they're involved with?" And I didn't know anything about the project or what it was about. And I'm like, I kind of stopped responding to him because I thought it was a scam. Who comes to you and says, "Hey, Metallica needs your snare"?
Right.
Like I've said many times, why would they need their own snare?
You're going to
Lars,
get one of those messages from a fake Lars account to be like, "Hey man,
yeah,
it's Lars. I'm ran out of money. Send me your drum kit. I need
ex-
a drum kit. The people from Tama, they don't talk to me anymore."
exactly. Like, no offense to him or anything, but that's what I was thinking. Wouldn't you think that? Like, what the hell does Metallica want to do with me? Just some fucking oh, excuse me, some loser from the woods. So I kind of approached it slowly. And then we got to talking, and the next day, I think it was a Saturday morning, he says, "Hey, you haven't given me an answer." I'm like, "Well, here's my holdup." I said, I don't think this is real. I mean, you wouldn't either. This is kind of weird." And he's like, "No, I understand where you're coming from. Shane's a really cool guy." He's like, "So let me talk to them and see what they want to do." I said, "The only way I'm really going to do this is put me in touch with the gear manager." That was Zach Harmon. Put me in touch with him. And I want to speak to them and just make sure, it's legitimate. Because in the end, it's my snare. It's not cheap, and it's not, they're not plentiful anymore. So he sends me the number. He said, expect a call from this number. So I give the number to my girlfriend because she's good at all that shit. She can look up anything to do with the computer. She looks up all that stuff and finds out anything. So I just remember it just got done raining. I was working outside and I was all muddy and I was all sweaty. I was doing like some retaining walls, and she comes out and she's like, I don't think it's right. She said it comes back Q Prime Management. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, come look. It's not right. Now, she doesn't know who Q Prime is. If you're a super fan or, you've been following the band, you know who Q Prime is. So she's like, yeah, look, Q Prime, Manhattan, New York. I'm like, whoa, this is real. This is real. So, and then Shane comes back. He said, Zach Harmon's going to call you. So I immediately went to Netflix because they had some kind of monster.
Yeah, with Q Prime Management, and he's in it. Yeah.
Right. So luckily they were streaming it. And I'm like, all right, I remember this name. Let me put a voice to the name. So, the first couple minutes, Zach popped up and you hear him talking about, I think. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, now I got a name. I got a voice to associate with this name. Let's see what happens with the call. And so I think it was about a half an hour later, the phone call comes in. Strange number. I answered. He's like, hey, this is Zach from Metallica. I'm like, holy shit, it's you. I recognize the voice. So now I'm at ease right now because, he came back Q Prime. I hear the voice. It's Zach. We start talking and we were bullshitting for a while. He's like, I know this sounds weird. He's like, but we can't find it. He's like, whether we lost it or gave it away or whatever, I just can't find it up in HQ. He said, so will you be willing to work with us? And, I said, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to help the band out. He's like, I'm thinking about a show. We could do something nice for you. And Shane had sent me over some text messages and they were like, we're going to make it worth your contact's while and your while. We'll do something nice for him. I'm like, yeah, I'll help you out. He's like, I'm thinking a show or something. Then we talked about the I always call it Giant Stadium. It's MetLife Stadium. We talked about the MetLife Stadium show. I told him I was there. And he had said, we were just bullshitting. He said, well, Sam from Tama saw the snare. And because mine is white, because, that's what it always was. The original one on tour was white, and the retail kit was wood inside. They never gave the white snare. I don't know why. But he's like, well, Sam said that it's not right because yours is white, and the original one was wood. I said, hang on. I said, I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. I said, let me send you this picture. I could prove it's white. And I sent it to him. And he's like, oh, no, you're absolutely right. It was white inside. So they're like, this is what we're looking for. They're like, can you get a hard case? And that was another thing. It was a Saturday night. I usually deal with Sweetwater. They're fair price. They get stuff out quick. But because it was Saturday night, well, let me back up a little. They wanted it out to meet their time constraints with Tama. They wanted it out on Monday morning. It would be 11 o'clock for me, and it's 3 hours behind over there. So I had to take the day off of work. But before that, they wanted it in the hard case, and so did I. I don't want it to get damaged or anything. So when they got in contact with me on that Saturday, it was too late for me to put in an order with Sweetwater.
Yeah.
You're not going to get something out in time for Monday morning, unless you want to pay the overnight on it, but that's expensive. So I had to go to a local music store, and nothing against the local music store. They got to make their money too. You got to pay local music store prices.
Yeah.
So I think I was in for like $150 plus tax on the hard case, which is fine. At the time I don't want it damaged either. So I get the hard case and then I call him back. We talk some more and, we're talking about all kinds of things. And I distinctively remember him saying, when the Star Classics came out, he's like, they were worlds better than the Art Stars. He's like, that's why we didn't record with Tama. If Tama ever sees this, man, they're gonna have a shit fit. But he was like, once the Star Classics came out, and I don't know how we got on the subject. He's like, they were the best sounding. They blew everything away. He's like, that's why we didn't go with Tama. We went with Gretsch because they were better sounding. The Maple, and I was thinking, whoa, that's crazy to hear. But so we bullshitted, and he asked for more pictures of the rest of the kits, and I sent him, the Master of Puppets kit and the Injustice for All kit. And he commented, he's like, man, those tom holders are really nice. Of all things, he was commenting on the tom holders. And I know that they don't have those tom holders. I just know from the past videos. I said, do you want me to send those out too? And he never answered me on that one. And then we also talked about the monkey back here. And that was a little weird. I said, you want me to send that out too? I said, you guys can keep it as a gift just in case you lost it. And he's like, I don't know what to say. He's like, I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. And I didn't understand what that meant. So I just left it. I just left it at that. I said, okay, I'll pack up the snare and I'll get it out to you. He's like, all right, tell me when you get it packed up. Give me the weight. This is normal stuff. This is how it
Yeah.
goes. You give the weight, they give it to FedEx. Uh, and he also wanted it. I remember they didn't want me to drop it off at like an outlying location. He's like, do you have an airport near? I was like, yeah, I've got an airport a little further away, but I can get there. I mean, this is surreal. You're going to do something for
Yeah.
Metallica, right?
Yeah.
You want to do whatever it takes to get it to them. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get it to the airport. And so I boxed it up. He gave me the tag. They were going to ship it out overnight. Absolutely. They've got time constraints. So I gave him the weight. He gave me the tag through email. I still got all this information because it's like surreal. You're dealing with Metallica.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get rid of that FedEx email and I'm not going to get rid of the shipping tag. I got copies of all that. It was really cool to me. So that next Monday, I called out from work and I hope nobody from work sees this. I called out sick. And I brought it right up to the airport. It was crazy because you're right there on the tarmac. And then I got the picture of the plane and everybody it's in my videos. I'm like right there and they just took it in. I'm like, how much did they spend on that? But yeah, so I sent it out overnight. Um, and he's like, what did he say? He said, oh, by the way, I watched your drum history podcast. He's like, really cool. And he said, I can't wait to meet you. So now your head is like, as a super fan, you're like, wow, I'm like, this is surreal. I'm talking to Metallica. They want to meet me. I'm here on the tarmac. This is just crazy.
Yeah.
So, but that's where, it kind of took a weird turn after that. Once the snare was out of my possession, they stopped talking to me really. Like I had to ask them, hey, what's going on? Did it make it there, on time and this and that? And then they were just very brief and just to the point. There was no more talking, there was no more bullshitting. There was no more friendly conversation. So I thought that was weird. But then I realized what was going on because after they used it, I don't know if anybody's dealt with FedEx. When somebody ships something to you, you get an email and it tells you exactly what's going on. Hey, package number 1 is headed to you, expected on this date. So I get this email and it said 10-day ground. And I mean, and I'm not going to lie, I've been diplomatic about it, but I just thought that was really disrespectful. Now, on my end, I thought it was disrespectful because around here we have a lot of problems with FedEx and UPS, and they've destroyed so much in the years on me. Even drums and other stuff I've shipped out for eBay and selling on Marketplace. If somebody needs it shipped on Marketplace, you need to ship it to them. They've destroyed it. So my thought was, it's going to get destroyed or it's more opportunity to get destroyed. Some people don't agree with me. They tell me you're lucky, you were part of this project at all. I'm like, oh, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. I'm very grateful to be part of the project, but come on, why would you ship it back 10 days after you overnighted it there? It's going to get destroyed. Hard case or not, they lose stuff all the time. So I was upset about that. And I still am, I mean, it's here. Thank God it's behind me. Nothing happened. Thank God. But I thought that was disrespectful.
Was there an agreement how it would be returned to you, or was it kind of just it was so fast and furious going out?
It was so fast and furious. There was no agreement. Maybe that's a issue on my part too that I didn't, ask, or maybe I expected, and a lot of people said, you're dealing. So see, as fans, we kind of like romanticize things like, oh, it's Metallica, it's we're fans. All we see is the band, but in the inner workings, it's like a mega business. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
They're doing business. The 4 guys in the band don't know what's going on with all this inner workings. So I'm just thinking I'm dealing with, good people. Well, I'm not saying they're bad people, but just like an average person like me, like, hey, we appreciate it. We'll do the same. But we're dealing with a mega business here. So I kind of just assumed. So yeah, some of it could be my fault, but there should have been some kind of, I should have asked, and there should have been some kind of agreement. The only thing I did ask them for, I said, if you can't get me to a show, I said, I just want to talk to Lars on the phone or, say hello and say, hey, and this is something I misworded in my video. Did you see the podcast? I said on my videos, what did you think of the podcast? Well, that's assuming that he even watched any of the podcasts, which he probably didn't. So I would have probably asked him, hey, did you see him? And my big concern was, did I get the gear right? I don't care what you thought about, the podcast itself, but did I do the Metallica name and all the gear that I used? Did I do it right? Have I done everything right? So that's what I would have asked him. But so that's the only thing I asked for. Other than that, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, you need help, you need me to get it out there, no problem. You're Metallica. I know you'll take care of me in the end, and this is cool and everything. So there was nothing really agreed upon in stone. It was like, we'll do something for you, we'll do something nice and maybe a show, but there was nothing like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's kind of, yeah, I guess.
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, like you said, we kind of, as fans or super fans or whatever you want to call us, you do romanticize about the band that way. And, if they ask for a favor, you're going to jump. I know I would.
Absolutely.
I know
Right,
Luke
right.
would too. But,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I think if I was in your position, I probably would be irritated 100% going with FedEx's history and UPS's history. And that snare is important to you. You spend a lot of time and a lot of
Yeah.
work on getting that thing together. But then I think when the dust settled and I got it back and it was in one piece and I seen the video and I'm like, that's my snare.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's
my snare.
still, yeah.
I think you're on the money there, Gavin. We'd all maybe have that initial reaction of, oh man, the sort of done me a wee bit dirty and they said jump and I asked how high, but now it's here and we'll get into it. Maybe not to jump ahead, Chris, but you mentioned some really cool things in your tuning video, like having the
Yeah.
head and it's like you didn't want to take it off because it has the exact tunings but you still want to
Yeah.
preserve it and you don't want to play it as much. But I had listened to a great podcast the other day. Funny, a hip hop artist, producer, and songwriter from close enough to you from Long Island, Cove City, Long Island, New York, by the name of John Bellion, has released a new album and he's been on the podcast called The Writer Is. And he had been in a contract dispute with Live Nation over his previous record deal, and he got out of that and he took a brief hiatus for about 6 years of making his own music. But he started to talk about the inner workings of a business and a team. And he was mentioning his own team, and then he spoke of someone on a similar but not quite the level of Metallica, in my opinion. He mentioned Taylor Swift. And he mentioned that is a mega industry and company that she has made in order to have everything go on for her. So I could only imagine that the team Metallica have assembled. No more, Gavin, we have sort of seen it firsthand with some of the runners and the crew and people that we saw at the Madrid gig.
Mm-hmm.
I could only imagine what the payroll is like and how many people are on it and what jobs people got to do.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it, Chris, with saying that the four guys probably weren't really aware of what had to happen for that snare to get there, although I'm sure Lars was very appreciative of what you done.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say he hadn't a clue that. I'd say he just thought that snare was in storage and it was just another day, another video shoot with Tama. I think, the more and more I kind of dig into Lars and his personality that we see on stage, and even recently today, Luke, we were talking about stuff. I think if he knew what you done, and hopefully he does find out this story someday, like he will be super appreciative of what you done, and I hope that day does come because you definitely deserve it, Chris.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, there is not a doubt in my mind that he didn't know about this. He didn't know. I mean, you can't expect these guys. They're so busy, the world tour, people that need your time here and they need your time there. So I absolutely know. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they did. But I don't think so. I don't think anybody knew about it. It was just, hey, show up here for the shoot.
Yeah.
And he probably looked at it and he's like, that's my snare, which that makes me feel good. I guess I did a good enough job where he thought it was his.
Yeah,
even though I
man, you done a
replicated
super
it.
job on all of that stuff.
So,
Just like I had said off camera, the view that you have behind you, it even adds to the podcast, although it's so much fun when we get to chat and when we talk via DMs, all of us, and shoot the shit about different things. But to see that
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous kit that you have
Oh
set up
yeah.
behind you. That's in your drum room every day.
Right,
You
yeah,
know, the
and it doesn't
pleasure.
change. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't.
because you
Yeah,
you put in the effort of setting it up, leaving it set up. You have your other two or three there as well, and the time and effort that went into honing that craft of yours to make it what it is exceptional.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it doesn't change. I mean, I come down here 5, 6 years later, and I still just stare at them like, holy shit, look at this. I mean, they're not the ones, but they are the ones. He didn't
Yeah.
use them, but they're exactly what they offered back then. And sometimes I'll just sit here and stare. So it doesn't get old. So I do appreciate that. I love looking at them. So.
When did um when did the kind of idea cross your mind and like the penny drop almost that oh shit, this was probably tuned by Jimmy.
I almost as soon, like the week after I put that video out, I had realized it sat there for a year. Now I'll touch a little bit on the story, why it sat there. So we said what happened in the end, and I'm not going to lie. As a super fan, I was upset. Yeah, you're upset, you're pissed off, whatever you want to call it. It sucked.
Yeah.
So I kind of just I needed to take a break. Let me just put this snare back on the stand. I don't want to deal with it. That's me. Some people think differently about it, but that's just how I took it. So I put it back on the stand. And I have so much gear here. I mean, you guys know about the 3 kits, and I'm building the other 2 kits. So there's like 10 kick drums down here. There's got to be like 15, 16 rack toms, and you lose track of things if you don't stay on top of it. So I wanted to put it back and let me rewind a little. When I sent it out, of course, I took it apart and I wanted to clean it up, because there's wood shavings like we talked about earlier. There's wood shavings and everything. So I took it all apart. I detuned it, took all the heads off, cleaned the inside, cleaned the outside. I took the lugs off and cleaned them and everything. So I put it back together and, just me being who I was like, I was going to put a new head on it, because I've got some 14-inch controlled sound dots here in the drum room, and I was going to put a new head and send it out pristine. And I'm like, why are you going to do that? I'm like, first of all, it's going for a video shoot and a photo shoot, and second of all, this is Metallica. They've got more heads probably in headquarters than I have around here at the local music stores. So save your head and just put the old one back on. And some people hit me on that too. Why would you send it there with a bad head? Well, I don't think I didn't think I should have changed his head. They weren't. It wasn't told to me that they were going to play it. They were just using it for a video shoot, photo shoot. So that's why I did that. So anyway, I cleaned it all up, sent it out to them. They send it back, and like I said, I got to keep track of everything. So I just wanted to tune it, put it on the stand, be done with it. So I use a drum dial to get things close. I like to tune by ear myself. Sometimes it comes off the drum dial and it still doesn't sound right, and then I'll tweak it. But I used the drum dial at first to get everything dialed in, and I noticed it was damn near where I keep it. I think it was at like 90. I keep it at 92. I'm sorry, the batter was at 93. And I keep it a little higher, 95 or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute. I sent this thing out detuned. Why is this thing tuned perfectly? And I couldn't figure out why it's tuned perfectly. And then because it was a time of like anger, I was like, if these guys put a new head on for the video and took the head off and put my old one back on, I'm like, that would be really screwed up. But it didn't work out that way because when the video came out, it was my original old head. So the only thing I could think of, and I said this in the video that I put out, I think Jimmy or somebody must have tuned it just in case, as they call him, the boss, wanted to hit it, wanted to hear it. You don't know what he's going to do. So you just want to have everything presentable, tuned up, ready to go. That's what I think. I can't prove it. I don't know for sure. But what I do know for sure is I sent that thing out completely flat on both sides. And I said, let them handle it. This is Metallica, whatever they're going to do with it for the video shoot. So it comes back. I put it on the stand a year later. Now I'm back on this. Where we sit currently, I'm doing some videos and some recordings on this. So I go to tune it, and I hit it a few times. And I'm like, oh, remember that? Remember last year? Jimmy had tuned it, or somebody, whoever tuned it. Stop what you're doing. Don't mess with it. Don't put any more tension on it. My first instinct was make this an Instagram story and tell everybody what's going on and how cool this is, and just get it out there. I think there's a lot of people follow me on Instagram. Even though I do the YouTube, I still prefer going there. You got more friends and everything there, and it's more personal. Mm-hmm. So I put the story up, and to their credit, people asked for that video, and I would have never done that if they didn't ask for it because I wasn't thinking about that. And yeah, so I got to give those people on Instagram a lot of credit. They're like, hey, we want drum dial settings. We want raw sound. We want to hear the story. And so then I made the video, and right now it's the best video I've ever done views wise, and it's 100%. It's not clickbait at all.
Hmm.
I got no reason to lie on this stuff. This is for real. The only thing I don't know is who tuned it. My best guess would be Jimmy. I don't think Lars tunes anything. I mean,
Oh,
I don't even want to tune these drums. What makes you think he wants to?
Oh! Yeah, yeah! Yo!
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that Lars would put a key
Yeah.
to those things these days,
No.
especially when you can hire a tech. I'm sure that Lars still carries his reputation of being very involved on the business side of things with Metallica. So I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine that, he would be maybe present or around for the setup of that stuff. If Jimmy's got 4 kits to set up every night of every gig, then I'm pretty sure he's going to be very, very good at doing that.
Oh
So
yeah,
if
absolutely.
you're paying a guy to do that, why don't you let him do his thing and it's going to be exactly the way you want it? And something I
Right.
was going to say about the shoot, Chris, when you watch the Tama video, you can see the excitement in Lars himself, seeing all his kits set up in the one room.
Yeah, yeah. That was an awesome video. I mean, whether I had something to do with it or not, that is the kind of video that everybody's wanted to see for 30 plus years. How awesome was that? He pulled out everything.
well, you definitely had something to do with it. You
I,
finished.
I did,
Yeah.
but even if I didn't, it was still an amazing video.
Yeah,
Oh
no, it
man.
was brilliant, and
Oh
like
yeah.
all the hard work paid off. And yes, bit of a shitty turnaround or whatever, but like I said, if I was you, I'd be sitting back going, I made that happen. That's my
Yeah.
snare, and that's mine. And
Yeah.
it would rub me wrong in ways, but after a while, I'd be like, you know what, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely gets easier, but I think I said this in the video. If I didn't send that snare in, chances are they would have stuck like the damaged justice, excuse me, damaged justice snare on there, the 14 by 8, the white one, because it looks to me like ever since they've been dragging that thing out for 10, 15 years, and we haven't seen this white and black snare. You can go back and look at all these videos where they historically pull that kit out. That snare is noticeably missing. I
Hmm.
didn't put two and two together until I sent it out, and he said he lost it. But if I didn't send it out, you would have saw it with the 14 by 8 damaged justice snare or the diamond plate, the LU 1465, his current model. Nothing against that snare, but this video just needed to be complete. It needed that snare. And I think the fact that everybody got to see it, historically correct, that means the most to me. So I can put aside, that, they were kind of shitty in the end. And yes, it's great that I'm in it, but we all got to see it historically correct the way it should have been. And that's the best part. So no matter what, I would do it again. No
Yeah,
matter what, even if it ended worse than it did, just because everybody got to enjoy it the proper way. And I think that's important, I'm just one person, but the whole Metallica family, or at least, a quarter of them that are into drums got to see it proper. And I think that's what matters the most.
So,
So,
so
yeah.
Chris, can I ask the gear nerd question?
sure, go
And
ahead.
one that I should know, but I just need some reaffirmation on it. This snare was the one that they would have toured during the Black Album tour,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
So 14 by 6.5 Tama maple or birch?
Maple. This one was a maple.
This one
And
was
it
maple. So the
and it had a
damage,
white interior.
so the damage justice one was the 14 by 8 birch, if I'm correct.
Yes, yep, 14 by 8 birch with the freedom lugs, the white of the
Yeah.
chrome freedom lugs, yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone out there that needs a reminder of a killer live sound, the live Shit Binge and Purge album,
Yeah.
this is that monster crack that you are hearing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had the Seattle show and the San Diego show. Now let's go a little deep into the nerdery.
Yeah.
If you look at Seattle 89, and I remember saying this with Bart in the drum history, that video in the same song, you'll see the 14 by 8 in white, and then you'll see the 14 by 8 in black. So I think it was recorded on two different nights, and they kind of just edited it. Unless you're like a super fan or
No,
one of
likely.
yeah.
Likely would be, for I remember picking up on stuff like that when I was a kid in the Mexico, the what is it? I'm not going to say the name of that show or the DVD because I'm going to get it wrong, but there would be certain videos like Ride the Lightning, I think, for instance, was recorded on two nights. For there's a
Yeah.
clip of it with Kirk playing the white Ouija in one of them, and then like the black one in the next,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
Caution Hot, where he had used a different guitar on
Yeah. I
Right.
the same song on different nights.
remember doing the video on that, doing a bit of digging, and it was definitely recordings over the couple of nights.
Yeah, so that's just like an interesting little kind of thing. Just so if next time you watch it, just keep your eye out. So it's two different snares. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Luke.
So
That's the
good, man.
14x8, the birch that you would hear on that show.
Yeah, so you would have
Yeah.
heard that on that show, and then Mexico '93 would have been
This maple
the
behind
the
me.
Birch one.
Yeah.
Very. Oh man, this is it's so much fun to get into this side of it, and you're like,
Yeah.
Look, most people don't appreciate it, and I can definitely understand it, but I think it's the little kid in me more than anything of
That's what it is.
fawning over Lars's gear.
That's how all this started for me. You know, when I was 14. Geez, I'm gonna date myself here. I think it was 96. I was 14, or that's when I would sit in class and I remember my mother yelling at me, you're failing. What's going on? You know what's going on? I'm thinking about this all day in school. I'm thinking about this kid, and that's why I'm failing. So that's what it was, that I've always wanted that.
That's a perfect way to feel, though. You know,
It's the truth, man. So a lot of failing grades thinking about this.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think we all would there. I remember like just, having one, earphone in my jumper at school and just listening to Metallica, like potential.
Yeah.
Lying on the
Yeah.
lying on the table with the earphone in your hand.
Having
So
fun.
nobody sees it, right.
Yeah.
Back then we had these big ones, it was
I
all
know.
cassettes and everything. And, yeah, that's what it started with. I had all cassettes. I didn't have any CDs. So, man, what a great time. What a great time to
Yeah.
be alive. But that's how it all started. So you're right, the kid in you comes out, and that's what happens, man. So it's still going today.
After that amazing chapter and that, adventure, I should call it, like, you've set yourself another major target now too.
Yeah, man.
You're gonna have to put an extension on the house now, Chris.
Oh,
Tell us
yeah,
what you set yourself up for.
I'm really
All right,
looking forward to this one. I think this might be my favorite kit from Cunning Stunts and S&M.
So, what's everybody's thoughts on the load and reload, the Silver Sparkle? That's what I've gotten myself into.
Man.
And the M72. I always say M72 seasons, but it's really the M72 tour. So that yellow kit too is just, when I saw that, it's the black hardware, and
Yeah.
it reminds me of this. That's what does it. So if you haven't seen any of my videos on YouTube, what I've gotten myself into, and I should have never done this, but this is great, though. I'm having a good time. A mature person would say, you have three. You don't need two more. And yeah, I do. I need two more.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
In
So what I
fact, you
plan
need them
on
all.
Then I really have to put an extension on the house. 'Cause
Then you're going to need the orange one. You're going to need the purple one. You're going to need the green one as well.
Yeah, and I don't have room for the two that I'm trying to do. I have room for one, so the right thing to do is two. So I don't know how I'm going to pull that off, but I always seem to make it work. But so yeah, so if you haven't seen my YouTube, what I want to do is what I've started. It's happening now. I'm going to replicate, because that's what I seem to be able to do. I'm going to replicate the Poor Touring Me Silver Sparkle and the M72 Yellow Star Classics. They most people know they had the retail kit, but the retail kit, and I'm not going to knock Tama for this. I know things have gotten expensive and everything. The retail kit is $7,999, $8,000 plus tax, and depending on where you are, tax is all different. And I had set $6,500 aside. I knew it was coming before everybody else did. I have a great relationship with Sweetwater and all this, and all the work I've done with the podcast. I'm not bragging about myself, but that's just how it works.
Yeah.
So they said, and somebody had leaked a flyer to me, and we talked a little bit about it on the podcast with Bart, the Drum History. They leaked they leaked the flyer, and I was like, yes, it's coming. This is great. I've always wanted to get I've always wanted to get a retail kit. I was too young for this one to get the retail kit. And the deeper purple, before I knew it was for sale, it was just gone. It was still before I did all these, it came out. And I was like, oh shit, I missed it again.
I'll tell you a great one before you go on. There's a website I keep an eye on. It's like the classified section of eBay in Germany. And right now there is one of the magnetic orange kits on it for about $5,000. But the thing is, the guy had put in a custom order and he has a 13 and a 14 along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a guy selling the deeper purple one for about $4,000.
Really?
Yeah, the shells only, which would be great. And although I don't need any more drums, but it's definitely something that the monkey spins around on the unicycle, banging the cymbals, going, another kit, another kit, another kit.
You're talking to the wrong guy to steer you the other way. I'm telling you to go out and get it tonight. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
So that would be really cool. You'd have the orange, the green, and the purple kind of pick up where I'm leaving off here.
Yeah, people are going to see my Instagram story during the week. I'll be in Barntrup in Germany with a van. Gavin, we need your van, so you'll be coming with me as well.
You go on the ferry. We get on the ferry tonight, yeah.
That'd be a great vlog.
Yeah, do it. Go pick it up. Yeah. You're talking to the wrong guy. Go pick it up. You need it.
How long will it take you to get to Dublin from JFK? All right. We need to switch drivers. We need two drivers. We can stop halfway, a couple of beers.
It's worth it, though. It's worth it. You got to do it. So,
oh man, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I got to check that out. I'm not gonna pick it up on you if you are thinking about it.
No, I'm not.
I'll
send you the links.
The shipping has got to be ridiculous. And like I said, I got two coming. Where the hell am I going to put all this stuff?
A lot of those guys won't ship them because of the size. I don't blame them, yeah. And, I was very lucky that the guy in Germany would ship my magnetic orange one.
Yeah.
I was extremely lucky.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
Unfortunately, one of the hoops did take a beating in the shipping and it cracked.
You see, that happens to me all the time. And then I get where you're coming from.
These companies seem to have every insurance loophole covered that they will not pay out.
You have to have a secretary to navigate that paperwork. When they destroyed some of my stuff, they're like, "We need the original receipt from '87. Where do you want me to get that? I'm not the first owner." So I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. Don't ever waste your money on that insurance. Because they have UPS and FedEx. They have all these lawyers that work for them. Everything is stacked against you. You'll never see your money.
Never win.
Yeah, and that's my problem. Why I hate dealing with FedEx, and I was especially mad about that snare. But I understand where you're coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you there, Chris, at all. But the classifieds, it always gets you where you're like, yeah, let's go and buy this kit, And I do understand where you're coming from with the 72 Seasons one. And I, like yourself, moving in the drum circles, looking to buy one over the years when I couldn't really get one after they were sold out, had made enough contacts, got a text maybe 7 or 8 weeks before general release. There was a drum shop owner I know had texted me. He's like, the Tama rep has just left. We're getting 2 of the 72 Seasons kits. Do you want one? And I remember discussing it with Gavin, and we discussed price. He's like, man, it's a lot of money, but it's going to be a hell of an investment if you can pull it off. And I was like, I'm very happy with the orange one. And now I see them on Reverb. Now everybody's trying to flip them for 25 G's.
No, it ain't worth it. Nobody's going to buy that. No. Same thing. And yeah, it's an investment, but you got to find that person. And I've learned this because, I do other things besides drums. I did cars a lot. You've got to find the perfect ass for the seat, as they say in the car world.
Yep.
And it's like there's only a very few. It's a small little group of people, little carve out, that number one are looking for something like these, and number two can afford it. Because if you spend $8,000, you're not going to give it away for $8,000. You're going to make money on it. But there's only so many people that can do that. So I get what you're coming. I understand where you're coming from there. It is an investment, but you got to find the right person.
You're right, Chris. 100%.
Yeah. And it seems like the only person out there buying them all is me. It's like every time I want to sell something, I get peanuts. But when I'm going to buy it, I'm spending top dollar.
Man,
So
I feel you. This green kit, I was going to get rid of it for a while because the orange one sounds so similar. And you know, like you've guys offering you $1,000 and they're like, that's the best I can do. And you're like,
oh well.
yeah.
No,
You're
it's
like
not going to
you
work.
don't
Nah.
yeah, it's like you don't get a kit this good for that money. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. So, and that's the thing. Now you got to sit on it till you find the right guy. But so getting back to the 72 seasons kit, when I heard it was 8 grand, I was taken back. So I knew, like, I remember the deeper purple kit was like 4,500. You know, some places were selling it for
Yep.
like 5 grand. And naturally they got to make their money too. I get that. I get how business works. But when I heard it was going to be 8 grand, I had put 6,500 away and I'm like, whoa. Now, 8 grand, and in case people don't understand, you're getting 6 shells. That's all you're getting. You're getting floor tom legs and 6 shells. You're not getting a snare. You're not even getting a tom holder. So that's where I was like, oh, that's just too much, man. Maybe if there was a tom holder and maybe if they put, now I'm not asking for the black anniversary snare, I get it, but maybe if they put like one of the diamond plates on there, maybe it would have swayed me a little to buy it. But I just didn't think it was worth it. I love it and I understand that things have gone up and where Tom is coming from. And I understand Lars has got to make some money off it. That's how business works. And I'm cool with that. But 8 grand was just a little steep for me.
Mm.
So that's why I passed on it.
And
I
and
don't blame you.
that's how
Yeah.
you created this challenge then for yourself. So
Yeah.
tell us about what's the rules of your project.
Okay, well, these are rules that I myself set up, so nobody's, set them on me. I set up just for a challenge. But, continuing that, like I just said, I put the $6,500 away to the side because I wanted the yellow kit. And I picked 65 because, like I said, the deeper purple was 45, and I understand the times we're living in that things went up. So I said, all right, let me put 65 away, and maybe that should cover it. Or that's all I'm willing to pay because that's all I think it's worth it. Especially like me with these power toms. I don't really like the shallow toms. I'm not going to say they're bad. I don't want to start pissing people off. It's just not me. That's what I'll say. So all that combined, I didn't think it was worth the 8 grand. I put the 6,500 aside. Now I got this 6,500. I still want that kit, right? I still want that yellow kit. And I said to myself, well, you've done this before. You know what you're doing. You can get this done. Why
That's
don't
that
you just
that's that
replicate it?
monkey, that's that monkey in the ear.
Exactly. Yeah, just do it. What do you got to lose? I was only going to do one. So it was between that one, and I said, well, you know what? I said, and we discussed this on the last episode. I got into Metallica in '96, and the first video I ever saw was Until It Sleeps. And then that Silver Sparkle Star Classic holds a special place in my heart to this day. I said, well, wait, I want to really do that one. So then I said, well, let me ask, everybody on Instagram and YouTube, which one do you think I should do? And one guy, and that's probably all it took was just one person to say it, said do them both. And I was like, why not? Why not? Let's try it. So, and that's what I'm going to do. So the challenge is I'm going to try and get what I'd really like to do is get them both together for 65, but that's probably impossible. So the first leg of the challenge is the 65 I put aside. I'm going to try and get all the shell kits done. Now I just want to put it out there. I'm not really going for maples. I know he uses maple and maple's going to drive up the cost. And some people, they get all pissed off on my YouTube and say, well, if you're not doing maple, you're doing the performers. It's not right. It's not real. Down here, the way I look at it is I in this basement through the EAD10, I can't tell the difference. Like this one is an art star and this one is a grand star, the 14 and the 16, because that's just, I've discussed that many times with Bart and I think on your episode.
Yeah.
For me to buy art stars and 9-piece art star, 9-piece grand star, swap the hardware.
Yeah.
It was unattainable.
Yeah,
So I
it's
said,
a pain in the
yeah.
ass, and even finding them, man, could take you 3 or
Yeah.
4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah, just to find them, let alone the cost. So I said, you know what, I'll do grand stars. And then I was stuck for years. And I finally found the 16 by 15, but it was an art star. And like I said in the last episode, I had to do a lot of drilling and I had to make these lugs work. So, but the point is, I can't tell the difference between the makeup on this wood in my ear or through the EAD10. And then I have the 20 by 18 is an Imperial Star, and I explained that in my drum room tour. I can't tell the difference from that either. So I know it's important, and I know Maple's a great drum. Me personally, I can't tell the difference. So, and it's easier to find performers than it is a Maple Star Classic. So I'm going to do everything performer wise. So no, it's not like, I know I'm not going for the Maples and the exact replica, but I'm gonna try and get two cool kits, and people know from the way I've done it before, then I can get something cool going on the ground, definitely. Performers or not, I could still get something cool to look good.
Man, it's going to sound great too. Don't get it twisted.
Oh yeah,
People,
performers are excellent drums, no matter
yeah,
what.
people like to get this thing in their head, but if you can tune the drums right, Tama make great drums at all
Oh yeah.
levels.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tama makes great drums. The performers sound good. Like I said, I can't tell the difference. I know I would like it to be 100%, the exact replica. He didn't play it, but it's exactly what he used. But since the 80s and the 90s, they've taken a different direction. They'll give you the cheaper performer model and the higher maple. Back then with the superstars and the grand stars and everything, everything was birch. And that's what it is. But so now I got two options. So I'm going to do the performers. So like I said, I'm going to try and get all the shells on the ground for 6,500. And then I got this other thing going. It's a three-part challenge. I got challenge number two is I think it's like $8,653. I think that's what would have hit it would excuse me, what it would have costed me to get the 72 seasons retail kit with tax and shipping and whatever, depending on if I bought it from Guitar Center or Sweetwater, which would have probably been Sweetwater, so no shipping. So that's 8,600 is with tax, and that's what it would have cost to just get that thing in the door.
Right.
So I want to get both shell kits on the ground and all the hardware for that price.
Oh,
Um, and of course, if we don't succeed, that sucks, but we're still going to have two kits. And then the third one, I go a little bit further. I think I came up with a number of 15.5, and I use Sweetwater's website because that's where I get everything. So the price of challenge three is to get everything done complete for 15,500. And I really hope it doesn't come close to that. I really hope. But that's what it would cost you as a person, any individual who picked up one of those kits, to replicate it 100% to what he uses on stage. Aside from the microphones and all this, I'm talking cymbals, cymbal stands, hardware, throne, everything. Unless, because I don't want to buy the M72 Seasons kit and have it sitting here with like pearl stands and, like Gibraltar pedals or something. I'd want to try and replicate it because the stuff is still in production. Why not? So it would cost you that amount that I've put together. And if anybody wants to see it, check out my YouTube channel. That's what it would cost to replicate the M72 yellow kit 100%. So there's a whole bunch of hidden costs, and I uncover them all for you. And I'm like, let me do them both and let me get it under that. And man, guys, I hope I can get it under that.
I'm not sure. Is that what you want? No, I said, is that what you want?
So
I don't
do
want to
I.
spend that much. Yeah, I want to get it for the 65. But so it's just kind of a little fun thing I wanted to throw together, to thicken the plot, just, so people could see and be,
Oh.
how do you say, be involved. And God bless everybody, all these people on my Instagram. I got these two guys. I got this guy, Nick, and this other guy, Casey, that shop for me every day.
oh,
And
really?
I appreciate it so much, man.
Oh
They are
man, that's
great. They're like,
awesome.
these two guys are like, "Hey, Chris, check this out." And I feel bad because I can't pick up everything because sometimes, like they'll send me a lead, and like somebody sent me a lead. It wasn't one of those two guys up in Canada, and the guy's like, "Well, I don't ship to America." Okay, so then you can't go with that lead, so you got to try something else. So yeah, so I want to get everybody involved, and because a lot of people, more people than we think, are build these replica kits or want to. And hopefully this gives people some insight on how to do it and
Yeah.
what it costs because you'll look at some videos and they'll talk about how to do things, but nobody ever wants to talk about money like it's taboo.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. I'm going to give you everything. And like I said in my videos, I regret not doing it with these three because if you think these two are going to be a journey, this was ridiculous. Because when I started, I didn't really know all the Lars gear in depth like that. I
Yeah.
know it because I built these, and I wish I had recorded it because I was going some places, driving places for one drum, one stand, and we're going to do it all over again. But this time I'm going to record everything.
Yeah.
So, we're going to do side quests. If I have to repair a cymbal stand, because, the sometimes the collars come loose on the Titans, we're going to do it. So it may take a couple years, but I'm going to record everything and just show people what it takes to build and display and just maintain 5 tour kits, and what you can expect if you want to do, because it ain't easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy at all.
But man,
Chris,
your
that will be a
videos,
journey.
yeah, your videos are so cool, and I'm sure as a drummer, you go into so much detail. Like you explained, it's almost like you're on the journey with you. Like you said, them two guys. I'm not surprised the guys are out there hunting for you
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you do your videos so well. It's open to everyone. You're so open, like you said. You're not afraid to talk about money. You're not talk.
Right, right.
I'm going driving here and picking up this, and it's brilliant. Like everybody, go and check out Chris's YouTube channel
Yeah,
because it's so good.
right. That's the best part, is getting people involved. Like, and God bless those 2 guys that shot for me. But there's a whole bunch of other people that have been with me from the beginning. Like, I'm doing a collaboration with this guy, Mike. I'm just going to say the initial of his last name because I always butcher the pronunciation of his last name, and I feel terrible. Mike S. over in Austria. We just started talking, and now this guy, we're doing a collaboration, and this guy is a genius. He'll take my drum sound and he'll mix it, and he does so many cool things. Like, you saw that video, he made me a file for the poster when Tama, and that's another part of that story. When I reached out to Tama didn't want nothing to do with me. They didn't want to. I asked Tama for a file because, as most people know, I'm not too technologically inclined with anything. But Mike stepped up and he's like, "Here's the file. Now you can go to Office Depot and you can get yourself a 16 by 24 poster." And I did. And now he's mixing stuff and we're doing a collaboration. And then there's this other guy, Eric. Like, anytime I need anything, I call Eric. He's like the Lars Ulrich drum kit. He's got all the files on hand. And he's like, "Oh, check this picture out. Check this picture out." And there's just all kinds of cool people that you meet along the way, and that's what it's about. I want to just get everybody engaged, and that's like the best part of this, meeting all these. Like, I met you guys, and I met Bart, and I just want, because, and I've said it many times, when I did this, there was nothing really. I felt like I was alone. There was nobody to talk to, and I mean, I did it, but let's show everybody how to do it now. Let's engage everybody. With me, I'll talk back to you. That's the thing. I'm not like. I mean, it's difficult because sometimes Instagram will shove shit in a folder that I don't see, but I want to hear from everybody.
Yeah.
And the reception's been good. People are enjoying it so far. I mean, you're always going to get people that are like,
Of course.
say some, yeah, but that's fun too. That's just part of YouTube. It's great that everybody could speak
Man,
out.
that's what you get. Like, I
Yeah.
had a brief cover of Master of Puppets or something and waiting for it to come in on the door with no click.
Yeah.
Because I'm not playing to a click when I'm recording the videos. And I missed the first choke by like a hair. And this guy commented on it, however many views and likes or whatever, and all the good comments. There was one guy who was like, "Ha, look at this, he even got the first hit wrong." And you're like, man, whatever you want to do, in life, there's always going to be.
Always.
Oh yeah.
Go check out Lars's page. Go check out Cristiano Ronaldo and Kylie Jenner have some of the biggest followings on Instagram. They still get hate on every post.
It's unbelievable.
That is true.
Yeah. Like I said to you, Luke, the what was it? The Bruce Springsteen video that we did on Slane Castle, like a recap of like 84 show. And it was going okay. Like, and there's one comment, "Oh, photo at 1 minute 47 is not from Slane." I'm like, is that all you can say about this whole video?
Yeah. But it's those people.
I'm like, man, you're not happy. Do you need a hug?
Yeah, but you know what? You're still, the good thing is you're still engaging. Even if the people say you suck, you're still engaging them. It
always reminds me of that scene in Big Daddy with Adam Sandler. He's walking around Central Park with the kid, and he's like, don't mind that person's just mad with their dad.
Yeah, so we all get it, but it's cool though. Yeah,
it's like when he's peeing on the wall. He's like, and they're giving out. He's like, "What's your name?" He write it on the wall.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep walking.
Yeah, so
yeah, man. Gotta love Adam Sandler. So
Chris, the specs of the Poor Touring Me kit, what did Lars use, and are you going to replicate it exactly?
Okay, so I'm not going to replicate it exactly because I want to do something a little different. So So hear me out. So Lars, the kick drums are 16 by 22. I'm going to replicate those exactly. The floor toms are 16 by 16 and an 18 by 16. I'm going to stick to that too. Now, the rack toms, I think he's using a 10 by 9 and a 12 by
12
10.
by 10.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I'm going to go 10 by 10 and 12 by 11. It's just an inch deeper, but to
Nice.
me, I think it looks so much better. You see what I've got down here. I mean, the biggest rack tom on the Port Touring Me kit is the size of my smallest rack toms on the Master and the Justice one. So I kind of I want to dive into it, but just I just want to use those power toms. So as you know, I kind of put my spin on things, especially back here. I got the 20 by 18. I'm going to do 10 by 10, and I'm going to do 12 by 11. So that's where I'm going to deviate. But everything else is going to kind of be the same, except for the snare. Now, you know the snare situation. That's that. What is
Tama
it?
Bell Brass.
Yeah, I think it's the PL565s, Bell Brass 14 by 6.5.
Yeah, it would have been the time correct one with
Yeah,
those lugs that were on the first Lars Ulrich signature model.
right.
Yeah, with the cool die cast hoops.
Now, the problem with that one is it's like, even if you can find it, I think I saw a video with Mario Duplantier.
Mario's got one, yeah.
And he had to look for it for a while. And
Yeah,
even if you find it, there's one, I think it was like 15, 16 grand or whatever. If I'm not going to spend 8 on the retail kit, I'm not going to
you're
spend
not going to
15,
spend it
16
on the snare. That's
Yeah.
actually a good story about Mario's one. The green kit, the green sparkle kit, Gavin. Remember, I had one at my uncle's place in America. I had it sent to him.
Oh yeah.
And then I didn't have it home, so I sold it last year. I think I was telling you about that, Chris. I had maybe sent it on to you. The guy I actually bought that kit from had used it. He was endorsed by Tama and all of this crack. And he had used it on a Warp tour and they supported Papa Roach. But he also had a Bell Brass, period corrective, say early or late 90s, early 2000s. And I talked to him about his drum, and he said I wasn't using it anymore. And I knew there was somebody looking for one. And through a friend of a friend, he said, my Bell Brass is now in possession of Mario Duplantier.
Oh, there you go. That's
Yeah,
cool, man.
that's a cool story.
Cool,
So I just
yeah.
said I'd share that.
Yeah, that's cool. Imagine that.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, but that's how hard they are to get a hold of. So it ain't going to happen. There's just no way around it. I wasn't going to let it kill the project, but it ain't going to happen. So there's some other routes we'll explore.
You should get the reissue.
That I could, but you're looking at $4,000 there too. So
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
but we'll see. There's Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
I just saying it's a reissue at $4,000. Wow.
Yeah. But I know they sound amazing. I've never played one, but I don't have to play it to tell you that they sound amazing. You know, you just know from where
They got Mario Gavin to do the video demo of the reissue for its release last year. I must send it on to you. It's a 6-minute video of him
Yeah, is that
doing
the
a solo.
Tama? Is that the
Yeah,
Tama?
in the studio in Chicago, and the thing just rips. And if anybody needs to hear how good that snare sounds, just look up Eli Casagrande on Instagram, and he is using it on tour right now with Slipknot.
It's a hell of a snare, man. A hell of a snare.
Crack of it.
Oh yeah. Maybe one day, but I don't know.
We'll start a
put
GoFundMe for Chris to get a Bell Brass.
Yeah, we'll talk about some other options. I mean, I know there's some companies out there that'll give you a brass rim and they'll drill it to your specs, and then maybe we can double up with like a snare that has those lugs and put them on the brass. I mean, it has to be replicated. If anybody could replicate it, I could do it. I'm not, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm not worried about that. So maybe
be able to do it,
yeah, maybe we'll go that way, or maybe we'll put. I definitely want to get a Lars Ulrich 1465 diamond plate. One of them. I don't know. I know the M72 kit's got to have one to be just like him. I don't want to do 2, so we'll see. I'll figure it out. I'll put out a video, and everybody can put their input, and we'll decide on something. So, but the snare, I'm still undecided about.
Got plenty of time, but yeah, so
Yeah.
you're going to be hunting now for the next few months, Getting your stuff together. You got a little bit done. I seen that on some of your episodes.
Yeah.
You know what I love? You know what I loved actually, Chris, and I'd love to see
What's that?
more, is the way you documented your drive out to, was that Long Island?
Yeah.
You're getting your gas and yeah, man, keep that coming. I love that whole journey of the day. I really like that.
Maybe we'll get to do that again. That was the longest one so far. The other one was up in Danbury. It wasn't too far, but so far we got those 2 road trips out, and I got the 18 by 16 in the mail. But yeah, those were cool. The thing is, I don't like. I'm kind of old school. I don't want to roll up on somebody with a camera.
Yeah,
and
I
say,
understand.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm from YouTube, and this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm going up to their front door, because I've done that too. So I kind of will. I won't do that. But yeah, I think the road trips are important, and that's another thing people don't know about me. I love driving the country. I mean, there's no place I won't go. So if we need a snare, let's say like it'll never happen, but a bell brass popped up in Los Angeles and it was for a good price. I'm going to drive out there not because I don't like to fly, because I love seeing the countryside. So maybe we'll get into that. But whatever I do, everybody's going to come along on the trip. I'm going to document it. And I'm not really what do they say? A content creator. So my videos are rough, man.
No, man, they're great. I love to see them. I subscribe, obviously, and every time I see a video, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to watch it now. I'm going to sit down tonight in my sitting room. I'm going to maybe have a beer, put my feet up, and I'm going to watch a video of Chris's because they're damn good, man. I really
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But it's tough for me. Like, I got to come down here. Like, let's just say I'm talking about this kit behind me. I got to talk in the basement alone, but I'm talking to in the last video, for almost 40,000 people seen it. So how do you, there's nobody really there, but maybe 40,000 people are watching, or even 100 people. Yeah. How do you talk to 100 people when nobody's there?
I know.
And I don't script anything. And
no. That's why it's so good though, because this stuff is no man. Just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah. You don't have to change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it. It's what you see is what you get with me, man. I don't know what I'm doing as a content creator.
Same with us, right there.
Chris, you've nailed a really cool thing. It's like anybody who does stuff well, I find they are authentically themselves.
Yeah.
Or unapologetically themselves. And you're just you documented your way, as you said. It's like, I'm no big content creator. Some of my videos are rough, but it's like, how many people are making a similar style of video that all looks the same, and you're like, it's just another one of these. And then you're making it your way, and you're finding a way to monetize you.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's what it is. What you see is what you get. And not because I don't want to, it's because I don't know how. But I appreciate it. I plan to keep it the same, because I'm not an actor. I don't want to be an actor.
No. Keep doing what you're doing.
I just wanted to play drums, and I wanted to have one replica kit of my favorite band's drummer, and here we are.
Now you're going to have 5.
5.
Well, and next year we'll be talking about another possible 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th.
We'll have to definitely check in maybe 6 months' time or 8 months' time, and we'll do a
progress. Hey, where are they now?
Yeah. Let's go back to it. But yeah, man, it's been an absolute blast chatting to you, and
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's always good.
And I'm learning every time, because I'm not a drummer, but I feel the love between you two, and I just love even just listening to you. I can see the passion coming out of both of you, and it's great to hear. But yeah, man, it's been a blast. So keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And we'll chat to you soon. All right, buddy?
Definitely.
Awesome.
All right,
Chris,
guys.
A pleasure as always.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.